Hey, what is going on, crypto people? Happy freaking Saturday to each and every one of you. Oh my goodness, what's going on with the market right now? Casper Labs and the Casper token, a case study in the 90-10 strategy. A case study. We're going to get into that and cover that. The Sui token seems a little undervalued to me. Hey, what is going on, crypto? Seems a little undervalued to me. I don't know. What say you? Feels a little undervalued, but it is interesting over the last 10 days ago. If we really check the prices, it's just been scaling down. I think it's interesting. I know that the tokenomics for this cycle is not as favorable as we would like. It's still favorable. It's still favorable. But I got to tell you, I listened to another interview from the co-founder, one of the co-founders, and yeah, kind of impressed with what's going on there. What we got going on here? Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button on the way in. That'd be super, super cool. We always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. Again, happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Yeah, so we're going to go over some posts from I guess the guy who's kind of heading Casper Network going forward. I think that's going to be interesting to note and point out. Yeah, we're going to cover that as well. Interesting time, I think. Very, very interesting time to be an early adopter in this new asset class that is a digital asset space. Very, very interesting. Can't wait to cover that little 90-10 study because lessons to be learned there, I think. Lessons to be learned there for sure. Let me make sure I got the numbers up. Refresh CoinGecko, make sure that is up and that's correct. I'm going to cover some posts on X from Sui. I want to go over kind of what Undo Finance is saying about the protocol that is on Sui called Navi protocol. Because it's interesting for me that Undo Finance, RWA, play on Ethereum is talking about Navi protocol. It's interesting. We'll cover that as well. And the Sui hub in the UAE, I believe in Dubai. Interesting. US better recognize, they better pay attention to what's going on. Did I cover Jeremy Hogan in the last live stream and what he was saying about this appeal? I don't think I did. His thoughts on Ripple's kind of what is it? What did they do? Cross appeal? I don't know if I covered that. What's going on, Crawfish? How are you, bro? Hydro is in the building. What's up, bro? Siege, my man, just relaxing here. Yeah, nice Saturday night to hang out. What do you guys think? Casper token, Casper Labs, a case study in the 90-10 strategy. It's a case study. Now, I know someone came on the live stream yesterday and mentioned Casper token and said, I don't know, kind of like some concerns about the CSPR token. I don't get this whole multi-sig app. Like, I don't get it. I don't think it's doing what it said it would do, you know? Try again. What's invalid? Oh, no address. Okay, we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. Bank Money XRP is in the building. Bank Money XRP says Casper dead and stinking. We're going to look into that. I tend to disagree, but let's look into it. Let's look into that. Bank Money XRP. It's a case study, in my opinion, of the 90-10 strategy that we share on the channel. It really, really is. Let me make sure this market's up to date. Some of my boys, man, the freaking Yankees. What's going on? All the LA Dodger fans we had on last night. Oh my God, I guess you guys are gonna hop on tonight too, huh? What the world? A walk-off home run in the 10th. I don't even know how they got the bases even loaded. There's a little bit more to it than that, Bank Money XRP. Bank Money XRP says Casper Labs abandoned the project to join HBAR and left Casper to the community. Hydra says, I have a little Casper. Yeah, that's kind of what they did. It's kind of what they did. We're going to hear from, I think I'm going to find their tweet. Hopefully I can find a post from the CTO at Casper Network. Yes, it's a little more to it than that. I think on the outside, it looks more dire than what it really is. Now, Casper Labs, those people, that group, they did create the Casper network, created the chain. True. And they created this Prove AI because they moved away from the promise of CSPR. But the CTO is still there. They're going to have a new association. I'm going to cover that as well. But I do think Bank Money XRP, it's a classic example of the 90-10. Classic example. A classic example of the 90-10. I really, really do. I think it was a classic example of the 90-10. Are you familiar with the 90-10 that we share on the channel, Bank Money XRP? I think it's a classic example. Look, we're going to go with the market, go over these numbers. Interesting interview with the co-founder of Sui. I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. Is it a Denny? A Denny? Or a Denny? Is it a Denny? I think it's a Denny. It was a really good interview. Really, really good interview. At first interview I saw this guy, I was like, don't really like that dude. But, yep, you know what it is? Okay, cool. Bank Money XRP. Cool, cool, cool. So, yeah, first when I saw the interview, I didn't, not this one, another interview, I didn't like him, but because I'm on the journey of becoming a sophisticated investor, I had to keep doing my homework, keep doing my due diligence, keep checking interviews, keep doing research, right? There you go, Bank Money XRP. It says 90% bank, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or a combination thereof, or within, or therein, and 10% everything else. That's it. That is it. And I think Casper and the Casper token is a classic example of why one might consider the 90-10, 80-20, 70-30. I believe most people, 90-10, something to consider, something to look at, something to ponder, something to think about. I really, really do. And Sui, again, Sui feels a little undervalued. We're going to let a couple more people hop in, crawfish, before we get into it. But Sui, man, is feeling a little undervalued. How many of you guys saw this interview here with Denny and the people from Zero X Research? These guys here ask some really, really good questions. And I'm guessing that they're part of Blockworks. Zero X Research is part of Blockworks. Man, I can't wait to get to this subs, 9,000 subs. So I can start doing these interviews, man. It's going to be cool. It's going to be a good learning experience. Pookie is in the building. What's going on, bro? The Blue Rancher is here. The Blue Rancher is here. All right, so let's go over these numbers real quick because the market is just doing what the market does. Then we're going to get into my thoughts on Casper token and then Sui as well. Okay. Bank on XRP. Have you gotten into the memes on the XRPL yet? No. It's been a while. I will not. I will look at them at when if one makes it to 4 or 5 months old, I will begin to look at it then there. Somewhere around 4 or 5 months. So this thing started in October, what, 23rd, 22nd, 21st, something like that. I'll look at them 4 months later, November, December, January, February. Look to see which ones have some, showing some semblance of staying power. I'm just not interested in the gamble. Still a gamble no matter what, but I'm not interested in the kind of the early ones. We'll see. Pookie Pookie said Cardano had an upgrade. Yeah, Cardano. It's always doing an upgrade, man. Payment XRP. FXRP is in the building. What's going on, bro? I just got the bat signal. Here and accounted for. All right, bro. Appreciate you checking in. All right, so let's go over these market real quick. According to CoinGecko, the total cryptocurrency market cap is 2.38 trillion, just ranging. And Bitcoin dominance is 56% or so. Bitcoin is trading at $66,892 again. On the 30-day, Bitcoin is up 2.7%. Ethereum is trading at $2,471 again. And under 30 days, down 6.5%. Solana is trading at $170 again. And under 30 days, Solana is up 9%. It's interesting. It's what Solana's been doing for some reason. It's like, why do these things go up, down, sideways? I don't know. But there's a reason. XRP, the beloved, is at 51 cents. Man, oh man. Even with the meme coins and stuff going on, got some activity, got some people over there, doing some stuff on First Ledger, and still these numbers. It's amazing to me. Yeah, First Ledger's like any meme thing new is gonna draw some bad guys, some pump and dumpers. Sure, of course. Of course. But there'll be legitimate ones hopping on. I believe XRP meme could be one of those legitimate ones. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. 51 cents, though. Isn't that interesting? I mean, there's no bumps here. No bumps in the 24-hour, in the 7-day, or 30-day. You would think there would be some kind of positive from First Ledger. It's interesting. Payment FXRP. It's very, very interesting. And then we got Sui here has been down. It's 14% down on the 7-day. I think it's about 20% down. That $170.70 feels like a good deal there. I have no more dirty, nasty fiat though. Like I'm tapped, man. I'm tapped. I am tapped. Interesting. So there it is, man. That's the market. And it is doing what the market does. Kind of cray. All right, so let me see if I can't pull some stuff from Casper. I want to get to CTO there because I know he had a post. See if I can get it. This guy here. It's Michael Stewart, CTO at Casper Network, co-founder of We Are Team Make. I don't know. Now, do I have that post? He kind of explained some stuff. Let me go to his page because I don't think I. Let me see if I can go to his page, see if it's there. And what he addressed is he kind of addressed the heat and the venom and the angst, the anger that people were having towards the Casper Labs CEO. I think this may be it. This is a very interesting one, Bankman XRP. Let's check this out. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's lengthy, right? And he did answer some questions as well, which I thought was interesting. Well, let's check this out together. Hi, Casper fam. This again, CTO at Casper Network. I know that these are tense times in our community. When Casper Labs first announced their Prove AI product 5 months ago, we all shared in the excitement that it would be built against Casper Network and join the family of apps running on our blockchain. When it became official that they wouldn't earlier this week, by way of the news of Prove AI entering into a partnership agreement with Hedera, we all shared an equal disappointment. However, since any company and project is free to choose which platform they build on, we at the Casper Association wished Prove AI and Hedera well in their new partnership and refocused on our primary mission: the development of the Casper network, the protocol, the technology, and supporting the ecosystem that is built and building on top of it. Our core engineering team is hard at work. The core engineering team is hard at work on wrapping up the work on Casper 2.0. So it says the core engineering team is still there. And expects to cut release candidate 5 next week. So they got a couple of things. I don't know what that looks like, 2.0 and something called candidate 5, which is feature complete and going into full testing, both internally as well as with downstream stakeholders. We are working closely with our validated community on preparing for the upgrade. Interesting to note as well, they've been soliciting for validators as also, which I thought was interesting. And with our growing community of DeFi devs on rapidly expanding both the capabilities of our DeFi eco as well as the product offering on top of that. We have a good number of exciting launches forthcoming in the next few weeks and months, including with new partners who have not previously built on Casper. And we are implementing our roadmap to decentralization by restructuring the way the Casper Association will be governed in the future and empowering the Casper community, and by decentralizing the team that's working on core engineering to include outside experts from reputable companies and projects. While obviously many people were looking forward to having the recently announced Prove AI product also launch on Casper Network, one app cannot ever be the sole pillar that a network rests on. Our aim is to be a fundamental blockchain network for as many apps as possible, both in the enterprise space as well as into the retail, DeFi, mass market space. That's the direction of the collective noses of the Casper core team are pointed in, and the objectives we're executing against. Now, this is where he explains something that I think most people missed or don't understand. And I think this is key. He says, there's another thing I want to address. There's a lot of anger directed at this Miri now, Monikar, personally. That's the CEO of Casper Labs. And much of it goes way beyond the pale. While frustration over the fact that Prove AI was originally announced to be on Casper Network. So the CEO of Casper Labs announced and said that that product, that app, the app, was going to be on Casper now. And ultimately it's going to another network is understandable. And I also share, it is not acceptable to make personal threats. In many cases, of physical violence or to digitally target individuals. Another note that we want to make, another point we want to make note of. Physical threats, digital threats, or to digitally target individuals with online abuse. Just like all of us, he is a human being with a family and as a professional with a responsibility to the company he's at the helm of and to its shareholders. That's the hard facts. That's the hard truth. His for-profit company was offered a commercial business deal that was good, that was too good to pass up. And the board of directors of that company agreed to enter into that business arrangement. These things happen all the time in all business environments. Obviously, having to walk back a prior statement about which network their product was going to launch on is a painful one to have to deliver and a painful one for all of us to receive. And I think one of the things about it is I'm not sure that they did deliver it. I thought that they just kind of announced they were hooking up with Hedera and didn't really announce to the Casper community that they were going to hook up with Hedera. But I may be wrong about that. He goes on to say, but that cannot be an excuse for threats to someone's or their family's life. I kindly but strongly request that this stops immediately. And I invite you to engage with me and the entire Casper Network team and community on all things Casper. This is a much more exciting, productive, and positively charged use of our collective time. Let's build. We'll get to the chat here, and then I'm going to cover a couple of things. Welcome some more people that came on, if some more came on. Yeah. So it's easy to make a meme on First Ledger, huh? Yeah. Yep. I'm sure it is. So that's where it is, Bank Money XRP. And I think a lot of people kind of missed it. The explanation, the reasons, kind of like the full story. And I think it's really, really important to understand this is what goes on. And this is a classic example, in my opinion, of the 90-10. Because the anger and the people and the threats and all of that is because their 90 was in Casper, the Casper token. But the Casper Labs and the vision for the Casper token and that blockchain was a promise, not a realized promise. And there's a difference. There's a difference in the promise and the realized promise. And, death threats and personal threats and, digitally being abusive online. That's because an emotional, all this kind of stuff, because they were allocated incorrectly. They didn't protect for the downside. A lot of people were calling for a dollar Casper token this cycle, if not more than a dollar. I took a high risk, high reward bet on the Casper token. But it wasn't a 90-10. It was still a 10% play. Right? But this is a classic example of when you go all in like that on a particular token on the promise. Who would have expected? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk that the Casper Labs people would go to another chain? But they did. They did. They didn't do anything illegal. They made a business decision that, according to the CTO of the Casper Association, Casper Network, said was too good to pass up. And the board of Casper Labs said, yeah, we got to get this one. We got to take this. You don't know. This was a promise. I heard it got some phenomenal technology. Kevin Cage was doing video after video about Casper technology and teams and the whole nine. It felt very promising that they could do some things different. And just like that, this is what happened. Casper Labs is off. They built a product and they didn't even launch it on the network that they built. They built this Prove AI and they decided they were going to go in a different direction. This is an AI play. And they didn't put it on the Casper network because they were beholden to not the community, but to that board. Now, is that the person who bought Casper's fault? No. Did they do anything wrong? The Casper holders do anything wrong? No. But if they allocated their portfolio, their dirty, nasty fiat, in the wrong manner, and they went all in on a high risk play, on a all the way down the risk adjusted return asset stack or chart. It was a promise. It was a promise. You don't know. You don't know. It's a classic example of why I went to 90-10 strategy and Raul Paul was recommending it and Dan Tapiera was co-signing it. In other words, agreeing to it. Big hedge fund guys. Because they know Casper Network is a promise of something that can be great. It wasn't a realized problem. It is still not a realized promise. But for every $100 you put 90 in it. For every $1,000 you're putting 900 into it. It's not protecting for the downside. Where's the protection for the downside? What if the Casper token holders were like the vast majority of XRP holders? Vast majority of XRP holders are all in pretty much on XRP at XLM and maybe XDC. Right? The cross-border payments thing was promise. It wasn't a realized promise. It hasn't come to fruition. And the way that we know things is we go through the network adoption curve. We go through that formula. We go through that formula. We check the on-chain analytics. We dive into it. We realize whether or not there's network adoption, projects building on it, new daily active users. You know what I'm saying, payment XRP? It's just a classic example. Now, here's what I think. There's a flip side. There have been plenty, I would say, of layer ones who had to adjust to some major stuff, whether it be a big time hack and hundreds of millions of dollars are stolen, or whether an insider ran away with money, or whatever. They have been plenty that have recovered, became stronger because of the drama. Right? Good timber comes from trees that have been stressed. It's going to be interesting to see what Casper Network does from now. But my personal bet is still on them. My personal bet is they're going to come out of this stronger. I don't know personally about this cycle. I don't know. We'll see. It might have to miss out on this cycle as far as the bull run. It might. Again, I don't know, but it might. But then they're going to have 3 years of figuring it out before the next cycle. Let me tell you why I'm probably a little more optimistic than others. Here's one of them right here. This person here, Ordra Framework, says, Michael, CTO, Casper Network, is the change we always wanted as the Casper community. Casper 2.0 is finally right on track with the concrete release plan. When the community requests a core feature, suddenly it's doable. DeFi is on the main agenda of Casper. You can discuss the smallest code details with him. We are team make, invest in and develops innovative technology in high impact industries such as public health and blockchain. We are a team make always worked as a community for the community. And they are behind the largest suite of Casper products that we use today. They are behind it. Things happen 10 times faster on the developmental side. This is a dev. Also discovered they're going to be doing a live Q&A for those who might be interested. Casper News says, we will be organizing a Q&A with the Casper Association CDO. This Michael Stewart guy. If any members of the community have questions that they want answered, please drop them below. We will collate these on behalf of the community, and Michael will provide some answers. This is a great opportunity to ask what has recently happened. New direction that Casper is heading. Casper Network is heading. The partners that are building on Casper. What it means for your Casper token, etc. Casper fam, the floor is yours. I would add, are you participating? Right? So some good questions here from, it looks like a Casper token holder. Another great question here. Right? They're asking about some stuff there, but this is the one that I was sort of interested in. It said, where I can find it. Yeah, okay, all right, so Michael responded to these 5 questions here. Is Actis, whatever that is, still in play? CTO is responding to them. So he answered 1, 2, 3. He answered all 5 questions. Okay. They asked him to respond. He responded. I think that's great. Someone said this. This is a good one from Crypto Ninja. The people at Casper Lab, this is their wallet, tokens that they have. Are they, Casper Labs, going to dump on Casper holders or distribute it in a way to cover the damage done? All right, CasperLabs.io, tokens, right? Token value, token, whatever, right? Casper News says it has been confirmed that the Casper token currently held in the Casper Labs wallet will be transferred to the Casper Association. Now, I don't know. Let's see. Anyone say anything? I see great news. This guy here, CTO at Casper Association, didn't deny or confirm it, but Casper News did. It has been confirmed. So there's that. What I see here, and again, this is me personally. If you hold Casper, I'm not telling you to hold it. I'm not telling you to hold it, but don't. It's one of those classic things that don't kill you, make you stronger. It feels like they're on that kind of direction. You know, people tend to rally together in the heat of challenges and obstacles. That's what it feels like. If you're interested, certainly, get on that AMA whenever they're going to hold it. They're organizing at Casper News, and the rest of the folks will be organizing. I'm sure they'll let people know when they got it, but I'm sure that's a big concern about the Casper tokens, whether they're going to be, dumping it because they're moving over to Hedera Hashgraph, and just says that they're going to, according to Casper News, they'll be transferring them to the association. So, that's kind of my take on it, but I do think it's a classic 90-10 because you don't know. Again, promises. There's a difference between a promise and a realized promise. Flare Networks is a promise. It's a promise, bank money XRP. It's not a realized promise. So I personally, when Crypto Siege is home, I allocate dirty, nasty fiat according to that. For every $100, $90, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, combination thereof, $10 FLR tokens. Doesn't mean you don't. It doesn't mean because Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana are better risk-adjusted reward assets. It doesn't mean that you don't allocate. Just means maybe you should consider a different strategy towards your allocation. And that's what we did, because we understand it's a promise. Again, this bear market coming up, and let me put it this way. After this bull run cycle, be a better risk-adjusted reward asset. Why? Because there will be more things delivered. they'll be delivering more on the promise. It will be a better risk-adjusted reward asset. And because there will be more delivery of promises, guess what they do also? They grab market share in their lane. You can't grab market share in the lane that you're operating in or hope to operate in if you're not dropping the product. Right? You're not dropping the product. You're not grabbing market share that way. Especially from heavy hitters. Heavy hitters, sophisticated investors, want to see what you're delivering on. They want to see if you're delivering on the promise. So again, for me, Casper, classic example of the 90-10, because now Casper holders don't know. I mean, it went through a big little thing, right? The Casper token went through a little thing after that news. Why? Emotions. Why? People don't know, they understand. Jump to conclusions. Think, the world's coming to an end, right? All this kind of stuff. Right? So those are the numbers. 75% for the year down. Last 30 days down 37%. Last 14, 34%. Last 7, 32%. It's down 99.4% from its all-time high. There's a little something in me that, I don't know. I just got a feeling. But I don't know. I got a feeling. I'm not changing my allocation, obviously. I already made the play. I already made the bet. But it's something about a community when they're down and feel like they got kicked in their teeth. Something about the human when they collectively come together. Something about it. You saw there the core engineering teams at Casper Network still. It's just something about it. These are good tokenomics, my friends. I mean, 13 billion total, 12 billion 400 circulating. FDV 102 million. So yeah, that's kind of high where I am on that. But that's kind of my feel for it. That's just my personal view. It's just kind of based on my my knowledge of people, my knowledge of challenging times, having gone through things like that in business before. It's just something about it. It's something about the human being when they're down and their ability to collectively rebound. Just something about it, man. Something about it. So let me make sure I got this right. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button on if you didn't hit it on the way in, no worries. Just collapse the chat and smash that like button and then come back and hang out. Certainly not telling anyone to go buy Casper token. I've shared with the community, with the channel, with the fam, that I made purchase long time ago. And this is what I will say. I am not selling my CSPR tokens. I'm not selling my Casper tokens. I'm not selling them. There's just something, again, you get a go gut feeling. That's kind of where I am with that. And again, when the troops get rallied, Hydro, when the troops get rallied, come together, something about it. As long as they got the core engineering team there, just something about it. Again, this would not be the first time in crypto. Successful products to date that you might not know of. They had some L's like this. They had some major trauma and drama like this. Yep. whether it be a DeFi project or layer one, some, rebranding, whether it be a major hack, so, those kind of things. Like it's happened before, and they rebounded and they recovered and then some. So it's kind of how I see that. Let's listen to this Raoul Pal video again. And then I'm going to cover some of this. So not again, another part of the video, another part of that video. And then I'm going to get into the Sui news. I feel like it's a little undervalued. And I wish Hydro had some dirty, nasty fiat. I ain't got no dirty, nasty fiat to allocate to that. Hmm. 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 Okay, I'll take it. All right. Yes, I hold. Hydro says, yes, I hold. It's just time. That's right. It's just time. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to see. All right, let's cover this thing because I think he may go over some. This is a very interesting video with Raoul Pal and Jamie Coots. He's the chief crypto analyst at Real Vision. And I think Raoul's asking him about tokens here, just specifically.
Things change, everything else.
All right, let me make sure I get this right.
I got to the kind of 10, blow off top, 15, you've got not wildly different. You're slightly more conservative than me, which I'm very comfortable with as well. The other part of this is, how do you see going forwards from here, alts versus Bitcoin? And which alts are you focused on at this point in time as your outperformers for the cycle? Obviously, things change, everything else.
So I see that the rest of the market will, in order for Bitcoin to fall from, in my top 200 model, 63% to 53%, it means that the rest of the market sort of outperforms. Maybe not as much as it has in the previous cycle for the reason that we just went through, but the five sectors from the Bitformance top 200, digital currency, smart contract platforms, DeFi, infrastructure, and applications. I've just, in the report, I go through some projections for what I think they could do this cycle. And so my projection is based on that Bitcoin number that maybe the total market cap gets to 7 trillion. And I think smart contract platforms do better. But I think the area that actually would be quite interesting to watch is the infrastructure sector. Within the top 200, it's a very small percentage. It's only 1.59% today. But I think it could get to as high as 4%, which would be a strong outperformance. So if you break down the Bitformance sector, infrastructure sector into subsectors, you get, computing and networking, you get the oracles, you get pure AI plays like BitTensor and Fetch, but you also get the adjacent AI plays like Render and Akash in the other subsector, which is compute and networking. So that's the sector as it is. Sorry, the sector and the subsector breakdown as it is today. It also includes IoT, some very nascent and a lot of subsectors that have not found strong product market fit. So it's highly speculative. But even though I have yet to form a very strong thesis around the AI crossover with crypto, I'm assigning a probability, a very high probability that subsector, the sector does very well in this coming bull market, or the bull market that we're in, and the extension into next year. But even if you, I can come to this in the next chart, but that's essentially the sector breakdown, Raoul. So I think smart contract platforms go from 27.3% today to 33.5%. That means it outperforms Bitcoin. DeFi is an interesting one. There's a narrative in the market that's been building up with some analysis done from a couple of analysts that, the DeFi sector is primed to outperform. And I'm sympathetic to that view. I really think that sector, because of the amount of fees that it's generating and the actual relative attractiveness of the valuations within some of these protocols, that if the institutions do come into the space, if the regulatory environment improves, they'll look at the DeFi sector very closely, because you've got protocols that are working, that are actually generating real income, whether it's Uniswap or Aave, and they trade on, crazy multiples relative to, NASDAQ or some of the other tech sectors. But if we look at just the extrapolation of growth and the continued use of blockchain rails, the merging of DeFi and CeFi, or traditional finance, we had the Fed Governor Waller this week come out and say, and sing the praises of DeFi and why DeFi is going to be so beneficial to the banks and the centralized entities. So I don't know whether he's talked himself out of a job, or whether that's the view of more of the junior middle management within the Fed. I don't know, but it's such an interesting presentation that he did. I'd encourage everyone to go look at it, and the things that he said. That I think the DeFi sector should, theoretically do well, but using a sort of a relative value or a momentum approach, when it breaks out above, or when it breaks out against Solana or Sui or Bitcoin, that'll be the signal that narrative is turning into a reality. Maybe just moving on to the asset view, and this will be the last one.
Okay, so he's got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, and Near Protocol. Interesting. AI. I don't know what Bitformus is. Is that his own thing, I guess? Bitformus Top 200 Index. Well, let's take a listen to what he says here. And he's showing the appreciation percentage. 180%. And he's got prices to the right as well. So let's hear him, and then I'll go over this chart.
It does go into that the assets that I like, and also subsectors as well. So specifically to your question, Raul, the assets that I like are Bitcoin. I still hold Ethereum. I don't think it will perform as well as Solana, Sui, or Near this cycle. And in terms of what this means, some of the RV community was asking me, what's my projections on Sui and Near? And I looked at really, okay, what's the current market share for these assets today? What do I think it could get to in the bull market? And that's how I arrive at the targets on the far right, which are admittedly, very aggressive. But
very aggressive? I guess Near and Sui. Okay.
This cycle, Sui's is about 1 million daily active users, generating about $30,000 in daily fees. Near is 2.5, 3 million daily active addresses, generates about sort of $20,000 in fees. In a bull market, they'll effectively double. Solana got to the same valuation in the last cycle, only on 1 million daily active addresses. So it tells me one thing. It tells me that valuations are compressing, like the amount of premium that's being placed on these assets is declining, which is, I think, sensible, because no one knew how to price these things in the last cycle. But just to see these assets or these networks in this cycle have way more users than the most popular non-Ethereum chain in the last cycle, produce way more fees than Solana did in the last cycle, but trade at a significant discount, I think gives you some sort of pathway to them going up a lot for the rest of this cycle.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Here's interesting. He's got subsectors as AI and meme coins. Now, current market share, I think, is interesting, but it's, it is what it is. Bitcoin, 63%. Ethereum is 15%. Current market share. Solana, current market share, 3.5%. Sui, 0.3%. Current market share. Near 0.29. AI, which concludes BitTensor and Render and Akash. 0.40. Meme coins, 2.06%. So it is right under Solana, and it's higher than the AI sector, the AI subsector and the AI, which like near, and it's higher than Sui in terms of the market share currently. What is got here? Projected Q3 2020 market cap. This is projected market caps. Interesting. All right. 3 trillion for Bitcoin, 919 billion for Ethereum, almost a trillion. Solana 318, Sui 70.75. Interesting. So anyway, there it is. Interesting. Projected market share. He's got meme coins to go from 2.06% to 5%. Interesting. And again, Raul is kind of saying his stuff is, this Jamie guy stuff is more conservative than his stuff. So, but we'll see. Isn't that interesting? Solana just about the same. But appreciation, total market cap 236%. Bitcoin 180, 236. Interesting. Bitcoin 100% appreciation, price 189,000. Ethereum appreciation 190%. Current prices, I'd imagine. And $7,592 price for Ethereum. Yeah, 190%. Solana 663, 330%. Sui, this is just his prices, okay, not mine, it's his. $24, 1,032%, 1,032%. Which is roughly 10x so from current prices. Near $57, 1,055%. Interesting. AI sector 963%. He can't give a price because he's doing a whole kind of putting all AI subsectors together. Meme coin 716%, which is the third highest. Layer 1 was Sui, AI, with near protocol, AI subsector cumulatively 9x and then 7x meme coins. Interesting. What do you guys think about that? $189. Yeah. Okay. What are you guys thinking about that? Legendary's in the building. What's going on? Hydro says, I find this video really interesting. Yeah, it's a real good, Legendary says, I was on that Cobb live stream. I might have been a top 10 first ledger meme. Oh, nice. With my legendary coin. It has no utility. It has no utility, by the way. It's just a legendary meme coin. What's going on, JR? JR is in the building. Yeah, it's very, very interesting for sure. Right? Very interesting. So some interesting stuff there, right? Interesting. But it was a really, really good interview. With the Sui guy. He said some really, really interesting stuff in this video. This interview here. One of the things that I saw was alarming that he said in this video, or surprising, I should say, not alarming, is that he said in Web3, there's only 25,000 developers. He said, that's pathetic. He says there's more developers in Facebook alone than the entire crypto Web3 industry, let's say Web3. Yeah, that's what he said here. It's interesting. He has some very interesting stuff to say here. This ZK login thing, I think, is interesting. But let's take a listen here.
That's perfect. I want to dive into Sui first, and then I want to talk a bit about Walrus as well, because I've been reading up on it. I'm very excited to hear about it. But specifically with regard to Sui, so I think one thing that's slightly unfair is that you constantly have a competitor, a very clear competitor. I don't think a lot of blockchains have to deal with that. But what do you think your competitive advantage is against other move-based chains?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Sol.
As well.
Yeah. So honestly, we think it's a good idea that multiple chains adopt to move. Quite frankly, we've made a statement that we think it's near impossible to secure the EVM. It's just not going to happen. We tried at Facebook, we looked at it, and we ultimately resulted in building a brand new programming language called Move. And you have the likes of Aptos who build on Move. You have Sui building on Move. I believe IOTA is going on to Move chain. There's something on AVAX on chain. You have Movement that's built on Move. The more Move developers, the better it is for Web3, period. And we emphatically believe that. So we welcome that. We just believe that the platform we built is far superior because everything was designed from the bottom up. When we left Facebook, we left behind the infrastructure and architecture that we had designed and built called Libra. One of our competitors built on that primitive. We had grander visions to build something that's beyond scale what we were doing at Facebook. Libra was meant to be almost a permission network to a large extent with a consortium. It was not meant to deal with scale at the kind of levels that we think the internet needs to go. So we started from scratch. So we built a fundamental platform that basically has object-oriented principles from day one. It deals with congestion by design. It's horizontally scalable by design, and it's probably the most delightful platform to build on. Some of the devs who have come from Solana have said building on Sui is a 10x improvement on building on Solana, for example. So dev experience is something we've been able to focus on day one. Building on the previous version of Move, sort of like what you have the IOTA and Aptos using, is almost like writing an account-based programming language, right? It's almost similar to ETH. And we do not think the mass majority of developers are going to work with that paradigm. Most things you build in the world aren't account-based. They're object-based. It's an object-based system. We think of objects. This phone is an object. My wallet is an object. And if I'm transacting with my wallet, I'm transacting on my phone, they're two different transactions. You should be able to do that in parallel, right? So most blockchains do not do that. And I think we've designed it from a very basic principle of, okay, how do I allow people to build an application that can onboard millions of users? We invented something called ZK Login. ZK Login is a mechanism that lets you create a Web3 account using your Web2 credentials in a fully permissionless way. So whoever your Web2 provider is, if it's Google, Facebook, or Kakao, whatever, does not even know you're signing to a Web3 application. Separately from that, we have something called sponsored transactions. So sponsored transactions lets you transact without paying gas. Someone else can pay the gas on your behalf, whether you want an ad to pay for gas or a wallet decides to cover it because you trade on their favorite DEX. Great. And then finally, we have three name services as well. So you're on board with your Google account or you're on board with your Facebook account or whatever you want. You get a username that is Web3 related. So it's at any like at notation. And I could send money to you like I send like email, never have to worry about gas. So we believe the next platform needs to be able to onboard users at the scale that's never been afforded to them in Web3. Most people in Web3 are building as though we're building for a very small subset of users. We believe that Sui will onboard more users into Web3 than any other platform just because we've built large scale infrastructure before that's had to tailor to billions of users. And that experience is very, very unique within Miston. So I mean, if I had to compare the biggest comparison, yeah, we have a great stack. The most scalable blockchain, the fastest finality, the most descriptive language we have to build smart contracts. But ultimately, I think our team really, really sets us aside from every other team in the space. people struggle to launch one platform, but we're launching a multitude of platforms, and we can do that really well.
Legendary says, Sui is a great buy right now. Easy money. That's what I was saying. That's what I said in intro and in the thumbnail, I think. So, or title. I think it, for me, I think so. But it's interesting to see. I know there's some tokenomics. This cycle are not as great. I think the unlock, there's some little unlock things. There's not the major unlock that already happened. But I look at Sui kind of as the next cycle, not this cycle. That's kind of how I see it. I see it as the next cycle, big time winner. Now, from current price to $24. I mean, that's not bad. I don't know about $24. Like, I have no idea about that price that Jamie from Real Vision is saying. But let me share another part that I thought. Gaining market share and ZK login adoption. It's at minute 12. Where are we at right now? Let me see something.
I think you teased at a lot of points here in relation to some competitors and kind of differentiating Sui and the stack here. I guess maybe to just re-highlight some high level things, like what are maybe the top kind of meaningful differences between like a Solana and a Sui, for example, and then like taking that further, I think you kind of started to get into this point as well, but like where and how does Sui differentiate itself, and then capture market share away from a Solana or even like the EVM as it is dominant today as well?
So the first one is developer experience. Building on Sui is it's light years away ahead of building on Sol in terms of just the dev experience. You're afforded tools like ZK login, afforded tools like object composability. You basically have congestion control dealt with intrinsically in the way the data platform is, intrinsically in how the data model is designed. So as a developer, you don't have to really understand the fundamental platform. You can just build, and most of these things are taken care of for you. You don't have to worry about sharding. So from a Solana, if you have to compare it to Sol, latency on Sui is, I think, 8 to 12x lower than on Sol. So if I trade on Sui, finality is instant, right? It's less than a second. Sol's about 8 seconds or more, depending on the network congestion. And Sui, up to 100,000 transactions per second, you're still a second. End-to-end finality. Not optimistic, no forks, it's simple end-to-end finality. Separately, I believe the ability to scale infinitely, right? Like, we hate quoting TPS or max TPS because that's a red flag. Google does not say, I can only handle 50 apps, and after that, good luck, the fees go up, right? So Sui allows you to add more validators, so as validator to add more infrastructure. So as a network starts to top out at 297,000 transactions per second, we're not going to get anywhere anytime soon. They can add a second worker or third worker. And we've been able to represent that if you 7x the amount of hardware for the network, you get 7x the performance and 0 increase in latency. And this has been formally proven. So Sui is also formally proven in its algorithms and the architecture. Solana is not. So these are the things. If you're going to build infrastructure that's going to carry the world's money, you need to have formal proof that this thing actually works, right? Like, it's not, trust me, bro, or hand waving. You have to actually be sure that what you're building on is going to stand the test of time. So our team has, I can't remember the full number, it's a myriad of top academics in the space who are also practical in the space, that are able to apply the theory into practice, and also the engineering that can build it at a high fidelity and speed. And it showed. So I think if I had to summarize a few things, I think for sure the capacity for Sui is elastic. It can scale horizontally, which Solana is not. The throughput and latency also is something that scales, right? Like, latency never increases, but you can always scale the throughput. And finally, I believe just the ability to have something is formally proven that works is a very high value. We actually have a ridiculous amount of interest for Sui from the institutionals now. They've looked at Sui, they're very excited about it, they understand the system, they've read the papers, and it's starting to prove itself out. And I believe there'll be a lot more news in that regard very soon.
Perfect.
Which is interesting. Anyway, X Factor's here. What's going on, X Factor? 5 years later, XRP is 50 cents. What a effing joke. Ripple just dumps monthly and adds to supply out there. So dilutes the price. I hear you, bro. I hear you. So I'm going to leave this link to this video for you guys. The thing about the cycles is, kind of seeing if you can get the better bang for the buck. Tokenomics are important. During the cycle, whether or not you're going to kind of get stuff dumped on you or not, I think during the cycle, during that bull run cycle is important, is a factor. But is a long-term play is a long-term play, in my opinion. And which means it's a certain percentage is a hold through the bull run, certain percentage through the bull run, accumulating more during the bear and waiting for the next bull run. That's kind of how I see it. And right now, obviously, I see like Bitcoin, Solana. We exited our ETH thing, but Solana, right? As those plays for sure. And we're going to see as to Flare for sure, Flare token, because again, that's still a promise. And so what the FLR token does this cycle is just, it's what it does. I like the flywheel economy. So for me personally, I'm more apt to hold more of the FLR because of the economy they got going on until 2026, which means, the bull should be over then. So, and there'll be what isn't there like one drop in January of 2026? So for me, because of the flywheel economy going on, and which includes the flare drops, which includes the the RFLR. It's just for me personally, uh, uh, holding through the bull, and then a greater percentage hold throughout the bear for me. Flare drops will end, but I think the RFLR is going to be going on for a period of time. Did they say, anyone know, Payment XRP or Hydro, Legendary, did they say how long the RFLR thing was going to be going on? This liquidity incentive event. Anyone remember? I don't remember. But again, with an economy like that, yeah, anyway, for me, I know I'm gonna hold, like, obviously I'm not selling any Bitcoin, but I probably will hold more FLR than I do Solana. I'm not exiting 100% out of either one, but I probably will hold more FLR. Probably. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes in. Again, these are promises, right? And so, they're going to deliver on some more promises. So we'll see. We'll see. The DApps right now on Flare, I like them. I like SparkDex, for sure. And Kinetic is doing their thing. So it's going to be interesting to see. SparkDex again, they're doing some stuff, and they're going to be launching a token as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that is going to play out. But doesn't it kind of, for me, Sui feels like another cycle hold, right? Right. So the rest of the 2025, through the bear. Now, how much? I don't know. Now, remember, historically, these altcoins, right? Where we got that price at again? 95% on these altcoins. You just got to remember that. 95%. Historically, it's just kind of what it is. I mean, what is that? If Sui hits $24, I mean, what's 95% of that? It's not much off from what it is now. Okay. Right. You know, it'll be $2. It'll be $1.20. Roughly $1.20, $1.30. If it gets to 24. That's if it gets to 24. What if it's less than that? That's kind of how I'm seeing it. That's kind of how I'm, seeing it. So think about that. 24 to $1.20. It's $1.70 something now, fam. This happens in the bear markets all the time. It's 90, 95%, is it not? Some, 99% or higher, right? When you consider that, it's interesting. If, for example, one was to exit 90% of their Sui position, only keeping 10%. One, hypothetically, legendary, and the bear would be able to snatch some up for less than the current day price. Now, I know we've never seen nothing like that before in crypto. I know we've never seen nothing like that, right? I mean, think about that. See how this tokenomics ain't the same as Casper. But Sui has network adoption. This tokenomics is not as great as Casper. But they got that network adoption. They got the momentum. They're grabbing market share. They got their attention. They got these active wallets. He said 1 million daily. But tokenomics. But over the course of the bull cycle and the bear cycle, the tokenomics is going to get better in preparation for the next cycle. It's kind of how I see it. But think about that. It's $1.79 right now. Which is also saying, legendary, if you don't take a Sui play now, if you don't take a Sui play now at $1.78, and you don't do it because it goes up, now it's $2, now it's $3, and it's $4, you're like, no. If you know the market, you might find another Sui under $2 price in the coming bear market. If you understand the market. You might. Current price to $24. Let's take a look. I mean, it's not bad. It's certainly a lot better than traditional finance. 12.5x. Not bad. I know some scoff at the 12x, you know. Some scoff and they just, you know, don't you see what's going on in the mean thing? This 50x is all over the mean coins. 12x. A little 12x. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? 12x. I don't know. What if you got $600 in Sui at 12x from current price? You got $7,200. You exit in the stable coins, and you find yourself at $1.20 Sui the next cycle during the bear. Made a little 12x. You can buy in a lower price. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just hypothetical in it. 12x your money, and then you get to buy in at a lower price, which means you have more Sui than you had before, except for possibly the Sui ecosystem or the Sui token having a better risk-adjusted reward or return. The Sui token being a better risk-adjusted return asset. Anyway, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Kind of how I'm seeing it. Maybe, yeah, it's kind of how I'm seeing it. But I look at Ethereum. Bear market is going to be really good for Sui liquidity pools. So I look at Ethereum, and it's just been challenging. But I look at what was Ethereum's all-time high? 4 or 5? 4,878 in 2021, all-time high. Ethereum was roughly 6 years old. So we is 18, 19 months old. 12 months from now to be 2.5. 3 years of a bear market. 5.5. Entering the bull next cycle, about 6 years. Ethereum, all-time low for Ethereum, according to CoinGecko, was 43 cents at one time in 2015. Oh my God. And the return thus far on that is 571,000%. If someone would have held to the all-time high. 43 cents. Now, some of us picked up some Sui at 55 cents, 54 cents. X Factor says, is there ever going to be real world uses of these coins? Oh, I think so. For sure. Bubba Smith's in the building. What's going on, bro? Even see, he's been a while watching on delay. Appreciate you checking in, Bubba Smith. Pookie still can't mint FBTC. Yeah, me either, bro. Me either. Me either. I hope this, some of the stuff makes sense to you. Risk adjusted reward assets, big word. It's important. Big phrase, term. All on the journey, but these are all the things we've learned on the journey of becoming a sophisticated investor. Am I far off in thinking in the bear cycle that we could find Sui price being less than what it currently is? In other words, getting a better price on a better risk adjusted reward asset. And that $1.20 is from $24. It's a retrace from 24. What if it only gets to 20? Right? We know how these things go now, right? Bookie, we've been here for a while. We understand that, right, Bubba Smith? I mean, legendary, we've been here for a minute. Those are facts. The on-chain analytics are facts. 95% for most altcoins. 95%. Bitcoin, what is it, Bitcoin? Bitcoin is either 55 to 75 or 55 to 65%. Disclosure kids, hey buddy, what's going on? No Paulson and Gary network, bro. I've been so on the flare, I haven't given it the attention it deserves. But we know the markets, right? Do we not? Do we not know that the altcoins historically during the bear retrace 95% from the all-time highs? Do we not know that? Or do we know that? Right? Isn't it 85 to 95%? Those are facts. Those are not numbers. Those are not guessing, rather. Those are the facts. Bitcoin, 55 to 75% from all-time high. Those are the facts. That's historical numbers. Legendary says truth. Those historical numbers. You guys enjoying that Sui interview? I'm telling you, it's interesting to me. It's really, really, really interesting to me. What if it does this Ethereum thing? What if it pulls this thing here? 43 cents to $4,878. I don't know. That's a crazy number there. That's a big, crazy. That's 570x. Isn't it? Isn't it? I think so. That's about 570x. All-time low to all-time high. It's 571,127% gain. That key to that though is if you're not on the journey to become a sophisticated investor, you're not tracking the history. You're not due diligent into the ecosystem, telegrams, discourse, X, video after video, podcast after podcast after podcast, learning about the ecosystem, being in touch, in tune. Maybe some people dumped Ethereum. Interesting thing for me is I know a lot of people just held Ethereum, bro. They just held it because of what they saw happen to Bitcoin. They held their ETH because they saw what happened to Bitcoin. My guess is the Solana people. My guess, I don't know. Yet the Solana people are doing the same. The question is, how much of it are they holding? It hasn't had the 6-year thing yet, right? It launched in 2020. 6-year thing was 2026, right at the bear. Right now, those people all-time low of 50 cents are at a 340x, roughly. You got to ask yourself, like, what are you taking profit on? Are you taking profit on the 10% bag of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, the 90%? What are you taking the profit on? What are you taking your lifestyle chips on? How are you creating a lifestyle? We'll see. Grad Barlinghouse, yes, sir. Says the more you learn, the more you earn. D. So there it is, fam. I just wanted to, some food for thought. It's kind of where I'm thinking and kind of where I am. It's going to be interesting to see. That's the first time I really kind of looked at the Ethereum, what they did. Legendary. It's still already a 4,000x and growing. A 4,000x. Four thousand X. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. That'd be super, super cool if you could do that. We always like to have just as many likes as we got viewers in the stream. It really helps to get the channel out to more people. And if you didn't do so on the way in, no worries. Just collapse the chat right now. Go smash the like and come back and hang out the crypto season. Pay him. Wow. Casper, we went over Casper token network and the case study of the 9010. Classic case study of allocating. Classic. That's crazy. I don't first ledger, huh? Crazy. So 4,000x. So 4,000x. So $10 in, you made 4,000. $10 in, you made $40,000. Am I doing that right? You put $10 in, you made 40,000. Am I doing that right? Is that right? I might have to hop over there on that first ledger if I'm doing that math right. You said a 4,000x, right? Legendary? 4,000. How do you get on first ledger? Let me go check that out. How you get on first ledger, legendary? That's crazy. That is correct. Telegram app. Ugh. There's a little link on how you get on there. Huzzy underscore H. Hooking people up. What's he got here? Who is this Huzzy H? Web3 enthusiast, DGen, HBAR, and NFTs Alpha Hunter, community manager, XRP degenerate, I think is what he's saying. Though how to for those who may want to check that out. I'm gonna check it out, man. I mean, how much is 50 XRP is what? $20? Hydro says there's 228 pages of memes. 228 pages. Now, there are people out there that know how to check, but the problem with the ledger is there's not enough data to track the wallets and, right? There's not enough XRPL data. As XP markets, are they on the data? Like you got to be able to check the creators, you got to be able to check the holders, you got to be able to check the percentage of the holders and these of the creators. If they're 1, 2, and 3% holders of these memes, not a great look. It's got to be like 0.1% or less. But how do you track that? What are the tools for tracking it? Otherwise, you're just gambling. Got to have some measure or means of being able to look on chain to be able to weed through the people there that are trying to just steal people's money or, giving yourself just a best shot of something lasting 30 days or 60 days. I just don't know if we have that right now. Do we know if X meme is on there yet? Hydro says First Ledger says a DEX is coming. Interesting. Really? I said no, and they took me off of there. Like, what? $10 days, 11 days, 9 days. Hmm. Anyway, there it is. Interesting. Tokens, click on it. Yeah, page 101. I saw a drop there at first. This is all that's left. Probably have to connect my wallet, Telegram bot, leaderboards. Interesting. Invite your friends to create their own meme coins and earn rewards. The more you spread, the more you win. Interesting. Interesting. Telegram. Ugh, I don't like Telegram. All right, fam. So there it is. I'll check that out. Let you know. Legendary says, I was throwing crap at every new meme and got lucky. I hear you, bro. Yeah, I don't know why I don't have 228 pages. Hi, Joe. I don't know. I only have page 101. Maybe I need to connect a wallet first to see more. Maybe I need to connect a wallet to see more. All right, fam. Listen, I'm gonna hop off here. I'll check that out off air and see what's good. Let you know if I made a decision or not. Thank you so much for checking in on a Saturday evening, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all of my live stream and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. But that's okay, though, because you and I, we're already winning. And I would ask you to perhaps consider or ponder or consider this idea to live your life permissionless. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.